If it's a walleye, it's gonna be a nice one. Pretty giant. Holy cow. I'm getting Go for it. Yes! Lean, mean, fighting machine. Dude, that's a freaking tank. Look at the head on that fish. Spawned out, but just a gorgeous Green Bay walleye right there. That is a freaking tank. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. We are not out on the water today. Today we're gonna be talking about the Nitro ZV20. Now, many of you that have been following me know that I bought a new boat in October. Yes, it was the Nitro ZV20. You guys have seen this boat all spring long, and I basically promised you guys that I would do a walkthrough of this boat, but I didn't want to do it until I got my feet wet in this boat, been in it for a couple of months, so that I can really give you guys my honest opinion of the ZV20. And it is about mid-May right now, so I've got a good couple of months in this boat guiding, a lot of fishing, a lot of filming on Green Bay, and even Lake Michigan a little bit to basically give you guys a good review of this boat. Now, it is a little dirty. I didn't have a whole lot of time to clean it. We're kind of in between trips right now. I'm actually running as a film boat tomorrow at the National Walleye Tour here in Oshkosh. And on Friday here, we're actually leaving for Lake Erie again for another week. A lot of stuff going on. I do want to mention, I still have some openings for June, July, and August on Green Bay if you do want to get out, do some walleye fishing. I also do have openings for salmon fishing too as well out on Lake Michigan, which is a ton of fun. So if you guys are interested in that, you want to get out fishing with me, I'll leave a link down below where you guys can book me for a day. We can get out there and do that. But I don't want to ramble on here too long. If you clicked on this video, you definitely want to see the Nitro ZV20. I gotta say, I absolutely love this rig. I love the fishability and the versatility of this boat. There's a lot of little things that make this boat really, really convenient. So I'm gonna walk you guys through everything today, from the bow down into the cockpit here, and then as well to the back of the boat where the motors are placed, and give you guys a good look. So let's go ahead. We'll start up at the bow of this boat. I'll show you guys all the electronics I'm running up there and the layout of the entire bow. So before we start with the bow, I just wanted to hop out here and show you guys the exterior of the trailer here. Now, if you're looking to get a new boat, whether it's a Nitro or not, definitely get stairs put on your trailer. This is a great add-on. Makes it super simple to get in and out of the boat when you're not in the water. It also makes it super simple to put the boat back on the trailer when you're in the water. You can basically drive it up, and then you can walk down these steps to hook up your boat, get everything good to go here before you actually pull it out of the water. So these steps have been super nice for that. The other thing I also wanted to point out on the trailer too as well before we hop inside is just this Dorado boat latch. I've never actually used one before this boat. I've never actually even fished with somebody that had one. This thing is the bee's knees. It makes latching your boat up at the end of the day 10 times easier. Just having that Dorado grab it, latch it for you is super simple and makes life a lot easier when you're taking the boat out of the water. If you're not familiar with the Dorado boat latch, definitely check those out. As far as the exterior, these are really the only two things that I wanted to show you convenient wise on the trailer itself. All right, so up here, this is basically my office. This is where I like to spend a lot of time in this boat, basically sharpshooting. You guys know, you guys have seen the videos. Right now, I only have one Garmin 10-inch unit up here. I do have room for another one. What's nice about the Garmin units is they have these really nice bail mounts. So I can actually take these graphs off, I can pop them right off, move them around in the boat, throw them in a compartment somewhere too. If I'm fishing somewhere and I'm gonna be leaving my boat outside or anything like that, I don't want stuff getting stolen, I can put them in locked compartments. So the bail mounts on the Garmin's, definitely love them. I actually have two graphs at the dash and I have one up here. My intentions are to get one more 10-inch to add right here, so I'll actually have 4 graphs in the boat. Right now, I just kind of use the bail mounts to my advantage. I'll grab one from the dash and put it up here on a day that I'm gonna be strictly jigging. If I'm gonna be spending more time down in the cockpit, then I'll just take that graph and put it back at the dash. I actually run a 36 volt, 112 pound thrust Minn Kota Ultrex up here. The reason why I went with the Ultrex is basically simply because I can mount my live scope transducer directly to the trolling motor without having to worry about the shaft sliding through any type of sheath like it does on the other Minn Kota units. I also feel like it's a lot more responsive with the foot pedal, simply because of the cable driven system that is inside this motor. I am not sponsored by Minn Kota by any means. You can run any sort of cable driven bow mount here and it'll work
with those live imaging transducers. So the bow of the ZV20 is almost the exact same as the ZV21. The only difference is the bait well of the ZV20 is actually installed right into the floor of the bow. It is not protruded outside of the bow like it is on the ZV21. Otherwise, the bow is the exact same size and the exact same layout as the ZV21s. You're gonna notice we have some nice big compartments. Basically, this compartment is just a gear storage. Right now I got rain jackets, ropes, boat bumpers, fire extinguisher, all that kind of stuff stowed over on this side of the boat. Even though you only see this small little square, they do actually go all the way up to here, allowing you to fit more gear in there. And these two compartments on each side of the boat are almost the exact same. This side, I basically just got stuff full of life jackets and some rod holders, but otherwise these two compartments up here are very large and can definitely fit a lot of gear. Another nice thing too is if you do get any sort of moisture in here, sometimes it can get difficult to dry these compartments out. Nice thing that Nitro did is they added a ventilation system to this with a fan. So you can actually turn the fan on at the helm. I'll show you guys that later. That'll run air basically through your entire bow up here. Besides the cooler and the bait well, your rod locker in these two compartments will get air pushed through it from that fan, basically allowing this stuff to dry off. Kind of already mentioned the cooler, but on the port side here, there is a nice big cooler on this side that is insulated. I absolutely love that. I can fit loads of drinks in there. I can fit food in there, and I can load that thing up with ice, and the ice will actually stay in there for a good couple of days. So I know that's really convenient when we go out to Lake Erie. We're spending a lot of time out there on the water. Having a cooler packed full of ice with cold drinks is definitely necessary. On the starboard side, you're actually gonna have a bait well. You're gonna have an aeration system and a fill system in there as well that'll allow you to fill that up, aerate it, whatever you gotta do to keep your bait alive. I don't use this a ton, but it is there for my use if I ever do need it. There are actually two compartments on the passenger side and the driver's side console. If we look at the passenger side, we open that up. It's just a small little space in there where you can store extra items. On the driver's side, you're actually gonna have access to all the wiring for your electronics, fuses and stuff like that. It's all gonna be housed in there. That's gonna make all that wiring super accessible for you if you ever have to dig into it or fix something. This was one of my favorite compartments on the boat, the rod locker. My last boat, I had not nearly as much room as I have on the ZV20 here. This is a very deep rod locker. If you noticed, I got all of my trolling rods basically pushed in on the bottom there, and then I have 2 racks of spinning rods with a couple extra trolling rods on there too as well. But I am very happy with this rod locker. I can fit all of the rods I need for a day of fishing in here, whether they be spinning rods, trolling rods, whatever I need for the day, I can fit in this rod locker. This rod locker fits up to 8-foot rods. I don't really have any spinning rods that are over that 8-foot mark. Most of my trolling rods are actually 8 foot or less. Another nice thing that Nitro did is actually include a little bump board. Just one of those little things that Nitro did to make your life just a little bit more convenient and organized when you're out on the water fishing. Moving a little further down the boat, I'm actually sitting in the passenger seat right now. I do want to mention these 2 seats are actually sitting on Wave Pro pedestals. These are air actuated seats. What you'll do is you'll actually fill these with air, and rather than being a spring suspension, you're actually riding on air. So I absolutely love these Wave Pros compared to the spring-loaded suspension seats that I actually had in my last boat. I did notice with the spring ones, you did have a lot more movement up and down. With these, you just don't get as much as that movement. You do go up and down, but you don't even feel it when you're riding on it. So it's literally almost like riding on a cloud, and it makes travel in the boat a lot nicer. But on the port side of the boat, you're gonna notice we have an amazing glove box. This glove box is absolutely huge. I can fit all sorts of items in here. I've got gloves, I've got sunglasses, sunscreen, extra batteries. I've got a basket with like headlamps and stuff like that in it. More gloves, my flares, all my safety items in here. First aid kit, any sort of thing that I want to have in the boat that I want to stay dry, I don't want to get wet, I put in this glove box. Car keys, wallets, phones, it all fits in here. Super nice glove box on this boat. We also got a nice little spot for, you know, wallets, phones, whatever. We got a nice little spot that you could put a phone here too as well. Strap it in so that you don't end up losing it. Super nice little convenient places to put your items so that you don't lose them on the boat. Right next to that phone holder, you also have a little USB outlet where you can plug in your phone. I like to run my GoPros off of that at times. but just another little convenient item to have here on the passenger side. If we actually go underneath the console, there's gonna be a nice little shelf underneath the console itself that you can hold items down there. You're also gonna have another compartment down here. Again, with the wasted space being used here on this Nitro ZV20, all they did was put a door on here, and now that space by your feet can be used for storage. So that compartment is actually on both sides. There's one under the driver's side as well. On the rod locker here, you also got another little compartment for little Plano boxes here where you can put things. I actually don't have anything in there right now, simply because I haven't figured out anything to put in there yet. But it is an option there if I need it. And if I hop off the seat here, another nice thing you'll notice that Nitro added is a net holder. This is something that I've actually never had on the boat. Normally I'm just laying my nets down on the floor or at the bow, and they're kind of getting banged around a little bit, sometimes even flying around when you're in big waves and stuff like that. But having a place to securely keep your nets, especially when you're in rough water so they're not flying around, is super nice. So that is another thing that they added here on the ZV20. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for the passenger side of the boat here. Obviously, we got some cup holders on each side of the seat. Just some other necessary holders for pliers, split ring pliers, side cutters, whatever down there too as well. So super nice little cockpit here on the passenger side. Let's go ahead over to the driver's side and show you what's going on over there. All right, so this is the helm of the boat. Similar to the passenger side, we got the compartment down here underneath that console, basically giving you extra storage for stuff. I just got some extra rod sleeves in there and some fluorocarbon too as well. But everything is here at the helm. You can tell I am running two 10-inch Garmin units. I absolutely love these Garmins. Typically what I'll do is I'll run my mapping on one, 2D sonar, side imaging, down scan, whatever on the other one. I don't feel the need to have any more units here at the helm. These two are just enough for me. One thing about this boat that I actually didn't have on my last boat too is a paddle trim shifter here. Basically does the same exact thing as the trim button on my actual throttle. It's just nice to have right there at the steering wheel too as well. I also have trim tabs on this boat. That is something that I didn't have on my last boat. I've been playing around with these quite a bit. Being able to kind of manipulate the boat a little bit more in that rough water is super important to me, especially when I have clients on board. And when you're trying to keep people dry in that really rough water, these Lenco train tabs can definitely come in clutch. So another nice little add-on that I did not have on my previous boats, but is something that I'll probably have on all of my future boats. One of the biggest differences between my last boat and this boat too as well is actually the digital controls. Everything is controlled by this touchscreen unit here. My live wells, my lights, my fan for the fan system, my bait well, pretty much everything is controlled right here from this unit, which is actually really nice. I haven't had too many issues with that. Sometimes I do notice when the screen gets wet, it likes to kind of have a mind of its own, but other than that, I really haven't had too many issues with the touchscreen controls. But it is a little bit cleaner of a look. You don't have a ton of switches going up and down the dash. It's all in one spot, and it looks really nice. Otherwise, we have all of our gauges. We have SmartCraft gauges up here too as well. We have our key and a horn, and other than that, there's a nice little radio too down here. We got 4 kicker speakers in here. Sound system on this boat is really nice if you're into listening to music while you're fishing. We have a nice little spot to actually keep your throwable device so that it's easily accessible. It's right here by your side at all times. Your big motor throttle is right here. And I actually run my kicker controls here at the helm too as well. That's what this throttle is for. I also got the ignition for that, so I can control all of the stuff for my kicker right here. I don't have to get up out of my seat to go put my kicker down and start that up. I can do it from right here. Moving on to the stern of the boat back here, I absolutely love this cockpit layout. There's so much room back here. I have the option to add 2 more pedestal seats back here too as well. You can notice we got compartments basically lining each side of the boat here. If we go ahead and start on the floor here, you're gonna notice we have a big compartment here. Basically all this compartment is housing for all of the batteries in this boat. I'm actually running 5 batteries in this boat. They're all interstates. I got 1 starting battery, 1 battery for strictly all of my electronics, and then 3 of those batteries are for the Minn Kota 2 as well. Super nice battery compartment here that is also very easy to get in and out of. Go to the port side of the boat here. You're gonna notice we got a nice long compartment right here. I actually keep all of my trolling stuff over on this side. In this side, I actually don't have anything in here right now. But I really like these compartments. I'm actually able to pull these bins right out of these compartments if I wanted to get other bins, take stuff out, put it in the garage, put it in my basement, organize stuff, whatever I want to do. These will actually fit 7 3700 style Plano boxes in here. If I lay them down like this, I could probably fit even more on top of that if I really wanted to fill these up. But I don't really have anything in here right now. I kind of leave this bin open for friends and stuff that come fishing. If they want to take their own gear along, they got a place to put it. They don't have to leave it laying on the bottom of the boat. You'll notice pretty much the exact same thing going on over here. Basically on this side, I keep all of my jigging items in here. I've got plastics, swim baits, shivers, death jigs, more plastics, ripping wraps, blade baits, swivels, snap weights, hair jigs, and all my jigs too as well are all housed right in here. So pretty much anything that I'm gonna use for a day of jigging, I keep in this compartment. If we open this compartment here, it's gonna be the exact same thing that is on this side as well, except this side is actually full of planer boards. I got a stern planer in here. I got some Windex, some cleaning supplies. So there is tons of storage going on back here. I actually took everything out of the Triton, put it into this boat, and noticed that I still have a lot of extra room back here for more items. So tons of space back here, and I absolutely love that. So this boat is powered by an absolute beast of a motor. This is the Mercury Pro X S300. This is a V8. This motor is absolutely incredible. I get amazing hole shot with this, amazing top end too as well. It's a big upgrade from the 154 stroke that I had on the Triton. I believe I have had this boat up to about 62, 63 miles an hour now. I don't ever see myself going that fast or having to go that fast very often. It is nice to know though that this boat does have a very high top end speed. As far as a kicker, I am running the Mercury Pro kicker. This is actually the EFI version of the Pro kicker. So this thing is super quiet, super versatile. This kicker allows me to troll slow. It also allows me to get up to the speeds that I have to get to if I'm trolling for muskies or trolling for salmon too out on Lake Michigan. Super impressed with this kicker so far. I know a lot of guys are kind of getting rid of them and just rolling with their bow mounts, but for me, trolling for muskies or trolling for salmon, a kicker is a must-have. So that is my Nitro ZV20. Overall, I am super happy with this boat. I really don't have anything negative to say about it. The customer service over at Cabela's also has been really good to me so far. Hopefully I answered some of the questions you may have about the boat itself. Like I said, I really wanted to do this walkthrough just to put something out there on YouTube for people to reference if they're looking at getting into one of these Nitros. But I actually got to get this thing home, get this thing packed up and ready to head on over to Ohio. We're gonna go do some more walleye fishing out on Lake Erie. So stay tuned for those videos to come here very soon. Again, I do have some openings left for guided trips on Green Bay and Lake Michigan if you guys are interested in that. But otherwise, I'm gonna head in the truck, drive this thing home and start getting ready to go to our next stop. So thank you guys again so much for tuning into this one. As always, keep living your dream and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.